Tell me honestly, does it feel like it's over, like a new beginning? Tell me, would it be like this if I said that we've tried too many times? And if I didn't need you then, I need you now. If I didn't see the end, it's all I found. If I never saw your face again, would I forget the innocence? And every time you said that you love me, so where did it go? I don't know what's next, where's the road? Split a hole in my chest. When did I lose control? And where will I go?
DJ Blake.
This is DJ Blake, and my next guest shows that there's more to being an artist than just putting out music. It's what you do off the mic that matters also. He has formed a welcoming presence in his community, he's the leader of a collective, connects with all types of art communities in Seattle, among many other things. The moment I ordered fried chicken from him, I knew there was something special about him. So I asked, "Are you an artist?" And he said, "Yes." So now here we are. Introducing Jason. Jason. Yep. Jason. Yep. There we go.
DJ Blake back with another one.
Welcome back, everyone. This is DJ Blake, keeping you up to date with all the hottest hip-hop news and sneaker talk. And today I'm with Jason.
Hello.
There we go. And do you just go by Jason for your, everything?
Yes.
Because on
Jason.
Instagram, it's unapologetically.
Yes.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yes,
there we go.
No. Can't do it. But, yeah, I just go by Jason. Lowercase J with the period.
That's dope.
It's been like a running trend. I get dogged for it all the time. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that's dope, though. I met this guy at Baka Bak, and if you don't know what Baka Bak is, look up Baka Bak.
That's pretty much the best way to describe it.
Yeah, bro. And it's on. Do you kind of see that's on the hype train because of Guy Fieri?
I see it on the hype train, but also it's just part of Seattle's hype. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Guy Fieri thing brings the tourists.
Yeah.
The Seattleites know where the hype is. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah, they go crazy for it.
But it's hella expensive for chicken, bro.
But it's bomb.
It's fire.
It's bomb though.
It's fire.
It's worth it.
Yeah. So I don't even know how to describe you. You're all over the board with the things you've done,
Yes.
So this is your time to brag, bro. So you're an artist, you're a podcaster type guy, right?
There's a little bit of everything going on. So I am first and foremost an R&B artist.
Yes.
Right. That's the love. Second, on top of that, I'm a leader of a collective, right, of some dope creatives. So really that is trying to eliminate every excuse you have to make art.
Right.
Networks, whatever it is, resources, anything. We come together, we try to work with each other to do that. So that's the second thing. Then on top of that, we have we're doing some event planning / coordination right now.
Right.
Trying to get some side hustles going. And on top of that, I produce as well.
Yes.
Play instruments as well, and all that kind of stuff as well. So
yeah, this guy has every connection you basically need right now in Seattle. Coming up, bro.
Coming up. It's important. It's important to do your work.
Yes.
Right. It's important to dig. Right. So it's good to really know people. I've been fortunate enough to be in a place where people are helping me out. So,
yes, for sure.
A lot of people have been going out of their way, to put me in that place. So I'm just trying to take people with me and do the same.
But it is the grind, you never start out with getting all these collectives, all these
Never.
connections and stuff like that, you know?
Never. Nope.
So the other day you were telling me, and I think this is actually important to hear, about how you try to start like a record deal label or something like that.
Yes.
So let's get into that.
One of the most important things about success is all the failures behind it.
Yes.
Right. So the first failure we had a record label called Neoteric Horizon Records. And this was coming the end of 2015 into 2016.
Right.
And it was me and a couple of my best friends. Of course, you know, we go see Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
And we're like, yo, we got to start a record label. We got to do it, right?
Yes.
So we did it. And it was really sick. Right? We had a really, really, really dope band, right?
Yeah.
We were doing a lot of really, really interesting things. But being so young, still trying to figure out how to live your young life, right? Personalities started to clash, and we didn't really know how to manage the business versus the personal, right? So then that band leaves. And then we have another artist, and he comes, and that doesn't work either.
Right.
And his was more like shooting for the stars, but we still got to do the grinding, right?
Yeah.
That we're talking about. So that became this weird like juxtaposition of like, well, you need the work, but you want success. So then I stopped working with him, and then after that we were like, well, I guess we're the only ones who have to step up. So then I started making my own art, right, in 2017, and then we released some songs. We have some stuff out there, cool.
Right.
But the record label just stopped, right? And that, taking that L was like one of the most important things.
Yes.
Right, because I was, in my role in that, it was more A&R. So I was talking to the artists, I was trying to figure out how they were gonna move, how were they gonna operate, whatever. But I didn't feel like I was doing enough. And that clicks in my head now that I am in this collective, right, leading this collective. I'm the one with the vision, the movement. I'm like, that's why it didn't work. I'm supposed to be doing more than that.
Yeah. But has it taught you failing like that? I hate the word fail though, you know?
I love the word fail. Yeah. Think about it this way. If you don't fail with a girl, right? If you don't fail asking out a girl, like we were just literally yesterday, we were helping one of our coworkers like ask this girl on a date. And I was thinking back and I was like, why is he so afraid? Like, and I was like, he hasn't failed yet.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm looking at this kid and I'm like, if you fail now, it'll be so much better later.
Right. That makes sense.
We're so young that I would rather fail right now 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Succeed once in 5 years.
Yeah. That makes sense.
100%, bro. It makes it so much easier.
Yes. So with those relationships though not working out inside of the record label, right?
Label.
How is it going forward with making connections? Are you more reserved in a way? Like, is there certain characteristics you can tell in someone like, this is not someone I want to work with? Or how do you go about doing that?
100%, right? I think it's being honest with yourself and where you are and where you want to go. Right? What's been happening lately is I've been pushing the things that I'm really passionate about. And when you do that, then people will come to you.
Yes.
Right? You don't want to work the opposite way. You don't want to find all the people and then figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? Because I see it as, if I do that and then all what I'm doing doesn't line up with these people, then I did all that for nothing. Right? And you want those people who can connect with you on that level.
Right.
When you are your most passionate, they can connect with you there.
Right.
That's what you want to do. So when it comes to connections now, I mean, you run into anybody and anybody could help you out. Anybody could have anything to say that can move you in a great way. But also on top of that, you have to remember it's about your movement. Right? So if you're moving, you can connect with people everywhere.
Right.
You just got to keep an open mind.
Do you think you gain or lose passion as you age?
That is all dependent on you.
Yeah.
That is all dependent on you.
Right.
I think if you dive into your passions, I think they can flourish.
Right.
But if you only see them as something on the side, I think they'll only stay where they are.
Right.
I don't necessarily think like you can lose interest in a passion, but I don't think you lose that passion.
Right.
Right? Like,
If it's a true passion.
if it's a true passion, you know what I mean? Like some people, and it sucks, but a lot of creatives stop doing what they do because real life hits them and those passions have to take a back seat. But those passions don't necessarily go anywhere.
Right.
But for me, I'm like, there's no way in hell that I'm letting go of any of those passions.
But how do you deal with your real life and your passions at the same time?
That is a tricky balance that I can tell you every artist, every one of us is struggling with this right now. You have to for me personally, I have to set up my everyday and set up my reality to be successful enough that I can put less and less effort into that
Right.
and more effort into the passion.
Right.
And that's where side hustles come in.
But are you open to like random events happening then too?
What do you mean by random events?
Like think about
For
this.
instance?
Like for example, like it was completely random for me and you to bump into each other. Stuff
Oh,
like that.
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
how you describe things like that? Do you think it's just the universe paying you back? Like when you meet a random connection that just falls into your lap, or like if something negative happens to you, how do you describe anything that happens, like the back and forth?
Let's call it the next step.
The next step.
Yeah. So you've seen Endgame, right? You know when they try to explain time travel?
Yeah.
And it's like you can't go back to the past
Right.
and then act like it's the past. It's actually your future.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I see it. Even if you're going backwards, right? Even if you take a hit, right? It's not that you're going back and past. That's that next step for you.
Right.
As long as you can realize that step happens and you can keep moving forward.
Right.
Right. For the negatives, it's just part of life.
Yeah.
For the positive, I got to step forward, right? I'm
Yeah.
doing a podcast now, right?
Yeah.
When you
That
build that
makes sense.
connection, it's you appreciate it, you don't take it for granted, you accept it, and you keep moving forward.
Right.
Keeps you humble, keeps you grounded.
Yes. What is your connection with Seattle?
I am a born and raised Seattleite. I am about as connected as I could possibly imagine. Seattle's home in every sense of the word. Home for music, of course, home for family, and home for culture, for me personally.
Right.
I identify so much with Seattle, and I want to see Seattle blow up. I want
Right.
to see Seattle be what I've seen. Yeah, it defines a lot of my music, honestly. It's a lot of sad boy vibes. And where do you think I got those sad boy vibes,
Yeah.
right? In one of the saddest cities.
Do you think it's the saddest city though? Like when you actually take a look at it, I don't. I was talking to another artist about this. I don't think it's the weather that defines you, because like he was saying, we were talking about if you move from Seattle, which is so rainy,
Yeah.
to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay. You might be happy for a second because it's all sunny, but then whatever is bothering you deep down is gonna catch up with you wherever you are.
100%. But people try to fake it and cover it up because
Yeah.
you're in Hawaii,
Yeah.
right? That's the thing. People come to Seattle and they see how dreary it is. They can step into that sadness. That's what I think it is, right? I think people love to step into their sadness. And
Right.
like I've fallen victim to it too. I do it all the time, right?
Right.
That's where the songs come from. Is
Yeah.
stepping into the sadness.
Right.
I think this place carries, for me, I love it because I can step into it, I can think about it, I can work with it, I can deal with it, I can put it into music, and then I can keep moving forward.
Right.
But a lot of people want to just sit in it here, and you can,
You can, but
because you don't have that sun excuse of, oh, it's sunny, I gotta be happy, right?
yeah. What are your opinion about artists that move here from out of state and start making music? Because I keep seeing that a lot.
Ooh, that's a really interesting one. So, yeah, okay. It's a coin toss, right? It is, from what I've seen, and this is no disrespect to any artist, right? Looking straight at the camera. No disrespect from any artist moving here, but I think people come to Seattle and they think Seattle is nothing.
Right.
Right. I think they think that nothing's going on in Seattle. They don't even have to worry about setting anything up, connecting with anybody. They just think it's right for the takeover. Right. And the problem with Seattle is Seattle's still pretty much a clean slate.
Mm-hmm.
No one's really defined Seattle yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't say otherwise right now.
Right.
Right. And if we all connected, if we all work together, then yeah.
Right.
Right. If you had these big artists all connecting with a little artist and establishing a city, then amazing, awesome.
Right.
You can shoot with that. But right now, I think a lot of people from out of town come here and they're like, well, I haven't heard anyone talk about the local R&B artists.
Mm-hmm.
Or, the local rappers. You got Macklemore, and people might know Travis Thompson or
Right.
Dave B, but
Right.
who else you got?
Right. But why do you think that is? Why do you think people don't hear all these voices that are in Seattle?
Seattle doesn't talk about it.
Why though?
That is the question. That's why we're here, isn't it? I see what you did there. That was good. It's because people don't talk about it. It's because all of Seattle clicks out. All of Seattle has their tiny groups, and
Do you do that too though?
I'm trying my best not to. Right. And if I do, I'm trying to bring those cliques together. Right. Because I understand, like, there's certain groups, there's certain pockets, like the photography community needs to work with itself to try to get better. But also that community can interact so well with the music community. Right. Like we go hand in hand, right? It's peanut butter and jelly here, you know? So I think we could all bring each other up, but why haven't we? I think people think that they could be more successful working with the community and working with their own genre of art and then building on top of that rather than connecting with other people.
So would you describe Seattle as a community and then there's like sub-communities inside of Seattle then?
Yeah, the way I see it is if you go to a family reunion, everybody's family, right?
Right.
But even in those immediate family pockets, there's a couple cousins hang out with a couple other cousins here, right? And like the aunties and uncles hang out over here, but only these aunties and uncles, and then there's these, right? I see it that way.
Right.
Like if you say you're from Seattle, right? We all sort of know the same people,
right?
But we all sort of break out into different areas. But we can all come back to that root of Seattle.
Right.
My thing is, if we say we're all part of that root, we should all be connecting at some point with all the other people.
Right.
That's how you move forward. That's how you establish a community.
Right. Do you, because you're always on Cap Hill, you say, right?
I'm always on Cap Hill. Every day, yes.
Do you think Cap Hill defines Seattle, though?
No. I think Cap Hill has been a defining factor of Seattle nightlife.
Right.
And I think that's just because of the location, right? It's in the middle of everywhere, and more importantly, there's something on every block.
Right.
Right. So I think that's really just like boosted up Cap Hill like crazy. But no, I don't think so. I think for people who aren't from here, Cap Hill has. But
with Cap Hill comes like all the music, the welcoming of the LGBTQZYX community.
100%.
And any type of art, restaurants. But
yeah.
Is there one place that's the thing overall I think about Seattle. I say it to everyone that's like, I think greater Seattle is Seattle. But because I don't think one thing defines Seattle versus if you go to like another city, like that city defines.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing though. All right, because Seattle's so open, I think there's so many different colors, if you will, of Seattle that need to be on the same canvas.
Like rainbow.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Like the sidewalks in Cap Hill.
Like the sidewalks.
Right? Exactly. I think it's good for there to be so many different things, ways to express Seattle.
Right.
They just all need to come together.
Right. So if you're focused on, I guess you're like focused on the music scene, because everything you were just saying, like, it's involved in the music scene, but you're talking about like photographers and like visual artists and stuff like that. How do you make connections outside of, because first of all, for some people it's difficult to make connections within the music scene, but you've made connections in the music scene and then you've branched out past the music scene. How does one start doing that?
You keep this in mind. A creative is a creative.
Right.
Is a creative. That's it. Right? The way you interact with your art, regardless of what art that is, you've been working on it for a while. You figured out your style. You figured out, your work ethic, your work flow, whatever. And you have some pride in it.
Right.
I'm gonna respect that.
Right.
Regardless of what art it is. Right. Like, for instance, and this is even just in music. I work at Q, promoting a Q. The house and EDM DJs, I'm not a big house guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not a big house guy. Yeah. But when Sunburn was this Friday. He's a house guy. And we were all outside just talking. And he's talking about how he played 6 unreleased songs in his set. And he was so stoked about it, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, man, that's crazy. And then he was like, man, I haven't been on the stage in like 2 months. Like, we connected on that because I was like, I haven't been on the stage since September. And I don't even know how many songs I haven't released.
Yeah.
All right, I see the same way for a photographer. If a photographer does a dope shoot and they can't wait to show you those photos, right? They've been putting in that work. I see it the exact same way.
Right.
When you put in the work the same way someone else does, regardless of what the result is, that's how you connect with people.
Right. Is there one community that you see that works better with one another than another? Like, and I'm thinking of like an actual community, not just like, so like the music community, like the visual art community.
Yeah.
Like, does one community work better with one another?
Oh, that's a hard one. In Seattle, I think music and photography are on the rise, coming together. But I'm really hoping that visual arts in particular, I'm really hoping that those take off. Right. So Weirdo Cult, for instance, he's ridiculous. If you saw, he did the Travis Thompson album art, Numos, right?
That was insane.
Right. I want him around at all the shows. I want him at places like Dozer's Warehouse. Right. Dozer's Warehouse, perfect example. Right. Those are a whole bunch of artists of a whole bunch of different forms.
Do you know who the Henry guy is?
Henry.
You know, like the little blurb that says Henry, and then they have like, those crazy murals throughout Seattle.
No, I don't.
You have definitely seen. I'll show you after. You know Henry.
I've seen it.
You've definitely seen those like.
I've probably seen it, of course. Come on.
It says, and then it's like a huge mural, and in the corner there'll be like a little bubble, and it says Henry. No,
well, I'm taking your word for it.
Dude, I'm terrible at describing things.
He's like, but, so it's a big circle, and there's a thing in the circle, and then there's the name in the circle.
I'm dead.
I got you.
What can you learn from, or can you learn from? What can you take away from certain communities that you can bring back to your own community in Seattle? That's
a really good question. Something I've been learning about the photography community is efficiency, and professionalism, right? And you can learn that from everyone, of course, right? But the way the photographers handle a photo shoot, right? The way a producer or director can put things together and execute the entire way through. It's something that, you know, the music community, music is so fluid, and you capture it when it's there, kind of thing. But personally, for me, like, I'm very, very, very open to the flow. Sometimes you got to rein it in, and that's what I'm learning from the photography community. And then on the other side, the visual arts community is, you can take what you've done and do it 1,000 different ways. Right? Because you have to. You have to learn more about what you're doing. And you look out to the world and you see how you can incorporate these different things. But using all of those resources you have, including your own old work, and transforming it into something else. Is exactly what I've been learning. If I have a beat and I have an old verse that didn't work on another beat.
I see that shit though. Yeah, like even you'll see that like on an artist's first album, they might even reuse the same song.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
Right, and that's how you establish what you're really good at. Right, when you start reworking sparks, like how I like to put it, I had a spark. I have like 2 bars that were so fire, ridiculous, bro. So I'll have those 2 bars, but I'll have them over here in this random beat, and I'll make a new beat, and it just clicks in my head. Drag this over here. And that flow works perfectly here.
That makes sense.
Right, so many verses and so many hooks, right, that you can throw them anywhere and then transform them into something else. And you see that in art. Like, you'll see someone take their piece and you can color it 1,000 different ways. Right? Or what are those challenges? Like the draw in your style challenges. Like, there'll be like one person on Instagram and they'll put up a picture that they draw, and then a whole bunch of people do a different style of it. Right?
I've seen that.
The exact same thing. It's how can I take a resource, how can I take a spark and transform it into my own style?
Right, that makes sense.
And we do that with music.
But so I'd like to, when you're actually looking for like creatives and passionate people in Seattle, you do know like that. Like I said, I don't like to say no one's better than another person, right?
100%.
But some people, like, you can tell they've been working on their like having their own voice or whatever it is, and like it makes them unique, you know. So a lot of people in Seattle are very unique, and that's usually what makes someone stand out, you know. But if no one's really at the top right now in Seattle, like everyone's like working on their own path, how does one person's name stand out over another's?
That's a hard question. It's layered. There's so many layers to that. Because, like, for me, I don't have a crazy following on Instagram, right? I don't have all of these songs out and stuff like that. But I've been networking like crazy. Right. So I've been working to try to do that. Oh, hey, you know this person? Cool. Well, right. That's part of it. Part of it is just having one of the dopest sounds. Right. Just having this amazing, interesting, different, whatever. Part of it is just that repetition and practice, right? If you are really, really good, like really good, and you can do it like this, you can pump out tracks, right? That's also what's going to get you noticed. And if you can do all of these things together, right?
Having a refined style.
Exactly.
Important. Yeah.
Refining your style is one of the most difficult things as an artist, but is the most important.
Right.
Because it's, how can I refine my style, but leave it just open enough to try new things? And that's what I've been doing lately is work with any kind of artist, right? Write with any kind of artist, collaborate with any kind of person, just to see what the common denominator is between my own art.
Yeah.
What flows do I normally use? What words do I normally use?
That makes sense.
And then go from there.
Yeah. What art medium do you see there is an overabundance of in Seattle?
Overabundance. I think photographers personally.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So there's crazy musicians, right? There's so many music artists, whatever.
Yeah.
But not as many of them are pushing it the same way. Everyone is pushing being a photographer, right? If people take pictures, they are pushing it.
Right.
Yeah, I also think there's just so much to shoot in Seattle. There's so many different angles and corners and street signs that you want to shoot here.
Right.
So makes sense.
Right. What have you done for yourself to make yourself stand out or be unique in Seattle?
I've tried to use the Gary Vee method. Give more than you get in any situation. Right. And I think in Seattle in particular, we have seen that there are a lot of very selfish people. All right. I have I've literally been on phone calls with people where I've been like, hey, I want to collaborate with you. I was at your show and I saw this, and this. I think you could do this, and this. And I'd like to work with our team. Just be a part of our team. And they're like, I'm not really looking for a team or not really looking for a partner. I'm just trying to do me. And I'm like, that defeats the point.
That's why I like to say collabing though, because then the way you phrase things, not saying you, just in general, I've learned wherever you go, the way you phrase things, even if they mean the exact same thing, just a different phrase, people may be more open-minded.
100%. But I think the other half of that is certain people are gonna not, vibe with something just in general.
It's weird though, because people say it's like an individuality thing with people not connecting. Yeah. But then if it's all individuals, those individuals make this huge community.
it's a whole community of little dots that all comes together. Yeah.
It's really interesting though.
That's what the art community is. It's a whole bunch of people who are trying to figure out how to interact with all of these other people.
Right. What do you think Seattle has to offer compared to New York, LA, Atlanta?
Well, one thing, it's that blank slate mentality, right? There's so much that can happen.
Right.
But the other thing, I think there's a very interesting way that our community connects when it actually connects. Like chopping it up with a guy who was just here.
Yeah.
Right, exactly that. Hey, you were at this guy's event?
Yeah.
Oh, dope. Awesome. Feels like I know you already. And then we sit here talking about music and stuff like that.
Right.
And that happens immediately here. Right? Once that first layer of armor is done, you're in.
Right. What can you see in a person that you can tell if they're not really serious about what they're doing or not? Or can you not really tell until you spend more time with them or something?
That really depends on the person. I like to think that I'm fairly good at reading people. So when I see someone who's, it's not even the maybes, it's the, oh yeah, totally. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Totally, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, we should totally get in. Yeah, we should totally get in the studio. Yeah, we should totally work together.
Yeah.
But there's no definition of what that thing should be.
Yeah.
That's when you can tell.
Yeah.
Right, because I've had a lot of people where I'm like, yo, totally, my space is open whenever. Hit me up. I'm always up late night. Let's do it.
Right.
Yeah, totally. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And we're waiting.
Right.
But nothing.
Yeah.
And that's completely fine, right? Because the way I see it is, that's that person's confidence level. Right? If you would have asked me 2-3 years ago, hey, you want to collab? Hey, you want to work on a project? I probably would have said the same thing.
Right.
I didn't have that confidence in what I was doing yet.
That's where I think auto-tune comes into play. That's what I think.
Really?
Yeah. I talk to artists and they say, literally, I'm not gonna.
Oh, auto-tune.
I'm not gonna say anything bad about it, but I went to this album release party the other day.
Yep.
was a dope guy. Like, he definitely is someone I think needs to be connected with people to get his name out there.
100%.
Because, like, at the album release party, which there's nothing wrong with this.
Yep.
Everyone there was, like, his family or extended family or family friends, okay? And this dude, during soundcheck for his album release party, I was like, dude, this guy's dope. He sounds like J. Cole or something, you know? Like, dope. Like, he sounds great. And then he comes out onto, like, the stage after, because we arrived really early.
Yep.
So when it was actually time for him to perform, I was like, this sounds nothing like what soundcheck. And I was like, oh, wait, this guy's using auto-tune now, you know? And I think what auto-tune does, it gives you that layer of confidence, because even if someone's like messing around to do music, they usually do auto-tune because they don't really have a voice. Yeah. And then when I've talked to artists who've been making music for a while, they're like, yeah, I started out on auto-tune, and then once I found my voice, or my producer was like, let's not try auto-tune right here. Yep. They're like, wow, I actually like my voice. I found my voice.
Yep. It's really, it's really, really hard to trust that your voice is what it should be.
Yeah.
It's really hard to trust that, like, for singing, right? For me, I am very, 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 very focused on pitch, right? Trying to make sure that I get my pitch right. Because when I hear songs, I can hear if it's off, like, immediately, and I can't stand it. So if I hear that in my song, I'm like, damn. Yeah. And that's where autotune comes in, right? It fixes that last, like, 5%.
Or if there's a pause, it goes through the pause, the autotune.
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's all of the effects, right? You don't want them to be the voice. You want them to emphasize the voice. Right, certain artists, you know, Travis Scott, you know, that's the sound,
right? And
I completely understand that. But for me personally, right, I'm an R&B artist, like, through and through. It needs to be sad, there needs to be emotion in it, and the only way you can do that is if the voice is the thing that's coming at you, right? So of course we use pitch correction and auto tune and all that kind of stuff, but I don't ever want to do that live, ever. Right? Because that's, to me, that is the most intimate moment you can have with your audience ever. Ever. And that there needs to be a certain respect that you have for your audience, that there's not going to be a layer in between me and you.
Right. What are your opinions on live albums then?
What do you mean?
You know, like Mac Miller live album acoustic or something like that. Like the whole album.
Oh, like love those things. Love them.
Pretty interesting.
There have been a lot of performances, specifically when Yeba, Abby Smith, did My Mind. It was one of the So Far events. That performance blew everyone's mind.
Right.
She can't sing it live anymore because of what happened on the stage that day.
Oh.
It was that good, right? There's something about a live performance that just changes things.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? I love that. Like, when you can do a live album, you have that confidence.
Yeah.
It becomes a moment in history.
Yeah. I think live performances also prove something if you're actually, like, serious about what you're doing. You know?
True. And you've taken the time to
memorize your lyrics, even.
Oh, man. I've had moments where, like, it's only when I'm putting together an event and performing where, like, I will forget lyrics because I just haven't had the time to practice, and I'm like, that's not cute. But yeah, it's, can you prove to yourself and your audience that you have put in the work to take this seriously?
Yeah. What are your opinions on people, like a lot of artists nowadays, saying, yep, this is my career now. Music is what I want to do. This is what I'm passionate about. But I hear that from, like, every single artist I've interviewed.
Yeah.
Like, but I think I want to hear someone be like, oh yeah, this is my hobby and my passion. But
so,
like,
yeah. That's, there's a couple different things that we're going to break down in that. One, it can be your career and you still have side hustles and a day job and this and that.
But not everyone's doing that.
Not everyone's doing that, and that is scary to
yes!
me. I'm like, how? Like, unless, because then, for me, that's, you're fighting to make it your life.
Yeah.
Right? I would rather, you know, thanks, Mom. Pointed right at the camera for that one. Thanks, Mom. She was like, you need to have a job. You need to take care of what you need to take care of.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you're going to be stable. Right? For me, I'd rather have stability in my regular life and then have the passion slowly grow and grow and grow until it is my life every phase.
Yeah.
Than not. And for me, like, I see it this way. I have a day job. day job's great.
Yeah.
Right? I enjoy the day job for what it is. It is not going to be my life. It is not going to be my career.
Right.
Because I have this passion.
Right.
And I know that I'm going to feed into that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you gotta know, yes, that is your career, that is your life, that is your passion, that is your love. But that has to be fed a certain way.
Right.
That's the first thing. The second thing, there are artists who say, no, this is only going so far.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This music thing I'm doing is only going to get me so far.
Right.
Like, I know an artist of mine, he's like, I only make music so I can make money to give back to my community.
Yeah, I know. Like, some people are like, oh, I do it to support my family.
Exactly, 100%. And that also, that's 100% respect there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me, I look at Nipsey Hussle, the things he did off the mic.
Mm-hmm. You have to do things off the mic, though.
You have to, because that's really where you start shaping your community, right? In where you live, and also just your audience, your fan base, all that. That's where the community comes from, right? When you can influence an entire group of people based on the things you're doing off the mic, out of the spotlight.
Yeah.
That's what matters to me.
Yeah, that's important.
That's why we have this collective. That's why we're doing all these events, right?
Right.
That's why all the other stuff that I'm doing is happening.
Right. Describe a collective to someone who might not know what a collective is.
Collective is a group of people who have either similar interests, similar passions.
A cult.
Yes. Well, yes. So we have sacrifices every Saturday, right?
Shit.
You should come out. No. No, it's people who feel, and it might not even be the exact same thing, but you are confident and passionate in something.
Yes.
And it just so happens that either someone has that same passion, same idea, or same drive that you do.
But are they inclusive, though? Like, I feel like a collective isn't everyone. It's like certain people.
It depends on the collective.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, it's about having that similar interest. Not everyone can be included if that similar interest isn't there.
Right. Yeah.
Right? You have to be able to connect on not even just one thing, but one movement, I like to say. And for mine, it's, I don't want you to have any reason to not make your art.
Right.
Right? I look at it this way. If I'm a music artist, right, I do a show. I need a photographer or videographer for that show. They're going to be in the collective that I'm in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's like a team.
Exactly. But it's not my personal team. We're all working together.
Yeah.
Right? I was talking to a really good friend of mine. He was like, it's this feedback loop. Right? So let's say you go out, right? You're going to do a performance, or you're going to do like a live podcast.
Yeah.
You're going to go to your friend's bar and spend money at your friend's bar, and then that friend is going to go spend money on this person's art, and this person's art is going to fuel your live podcast.
Yeah.
It's about this coming up together, that it's not my personal team. Not everybody's working under me, but we're all working together.
Do you still need a manager or something like that, though?
Yes. Yeah. So in terms of structure, you're trying to build things, but there's certain things that you need professionals and experts to do. Right? When it comes to marketing and branding and, public relations and events and all that kind of stuff, like, you need people who can solely do that kind of stuff. But a lot of people, I mean, indie art is it right now.
Yeah, for sure.
If you've got a phone,
you're in.
And that's it. Like, actually, you might need an iPad to produce a song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might need a little laptop, whatever, but you can do pretty much everything on your phone. So you can manage yourself as long as you're diligent, you're disciplined, right? And you care.
Yeah. Caring is important. I think that's really important. I think it's sometimes hard to tell if someone cares or not, though.
I think it is easy to tell if someone cares about things outside of themselves. It's harder for that person to know if they cared about what they're doing in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? Because for me, I've seen a lot of people who want to interact with the outside world and be a part of that community, but they don't care about what they're actually doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, you want to be known, you want to be popping, you want to be famous, you want to do all of these things, but you don't actually care about how that's done. You haven't taken the time to sit down. Yeah. It's sloppy, and also it's really easy to tell.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just trying to be famous for the sake of being famous, we'll figure you out. That's just what's gonna happen.
Right.
I'd rather have someone care about their passion so much that being famous, like,
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a second.
Like, for me, I go on Instagram Live every once in a while, randomly, just to make beats, work on music, whatever, talk to random people.
Right.
Doesn't matter if there's literally just my mother in it.
Yeah. Hi, Mom.
Which, that was the other way. Like 3, 4 a.m. I'm sitting working on a song.
Yeah.
And it's just me and my mom talking about it back and forth. Or if there's 12, 15, 20, 50 people in there, right? It doesn't change things. Numbers don't change things. Because it's about the passion behind it.
Right. Do you think social media is important to become an artist, though? Because promoting is really important, but I guess...
Yes. So, locally, not really.
Right.
Right? Locally, you can do even more word of mouth than social media.
Right.
Right? You can keep up to date with those people, right? You can try to, get the updates and shit like that. But when it comes to building locally, being at events is where you're going to take off.
Yeah.
Right? When you're having those conversations, right? You're chopping it up with random people you just met. That's where you can take off.
Right.
Going outside of your local area, that's where social media is important.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Right? Because I can't connect to people in Salt Lake City or Chicago or LA. Not right now. Right. And I can go out there and try to work it and whatever. But
right,
again,
where's your private jet though?
Oh, see, I didn't take it today. Yeah. So
sense.
I had like a little tiny one, and I feel like the Ant-Man disc, and it just like explodes up, right?
I'm dead.
Yeah.
I can tell you like Marvel.
Come on, no. I am a nerd through and through.
Yes.
You have to be multifaceted in this business.
Yes.
Come on.
So, what defines the perfect Seattle artist in your opinion? I'm not saying someone meets those categories yet, but
I don't think there's a definition. Not yet.
Is there someone you strive to be like? As I think it's important to be yourself, but
in Seattle?
Yeah, and outside of Seattle, both.
Inside Seattle, there are a lot of people I respect. Not anyone I would want to be.
Right.
Because for me, there's so many things I want to do. Right? There are aspects of people, like the people at Q, right? When it comes to putting on events and putting teams together, I want to be like that. I want to have those qualities.
Right.
But that's not all of me. Right? So when it comes to production, then I want to be like this. And when R&B artists, like the same kind of thing.
Right.
But not really. It's kind of like you're building up like a collage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a good example.
And then for outside, I already said his name, but Nipsey Hussle did some crazy things.
Yeah.
Right? He did some absolutely insane things with his community.
But what can you learn about him that you can change on yourself, though? Like, for example, I think he did great things for the community, but maybe he didn't do a good job promoting it? Because I think that's weird as fuck for someone to get that much recognition after your death.
Well, here's the thing. It's not about the recognition.
But the recognition is important, but like...
So look at it this way. He was selling $100 CDs out of his trunk.
Yeah, and Jay-Z bought like all of them.
And Jay-Z bought, I think he bought 1,000 of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why was he doing that? Where does that money go?
Right.
Right? To me, that money goes into the studio so that he can put in more songs and stuff like that. He starts saving that money so that he can buy up that corner. He can buy up that plaza. Right? That's his end goal.
Right.
The bigger things.
Right.
I don't need to talk about the bigger things. Right? Gathering the attention, gathering the resources, that's all the talking about stuff.
Yeah.
Doing the shows and the this and that, right? That's all the stuff you talk about.
Right.
When it comes to the stuff that matters, it's way more important that you do it than you talk about it.
Right. But why do you think he got all that recognition after his death, though, even?
Because people started paying attention.
But there's so many different artists that passed away this year.
Literally Juice WRLD a couple days ago.
Yeah. And, like, there's no one digging into, like, what he did for the community. You know?
It takes... So...
I think that's where karma comes in, maybe.
I think it's karma, but I think it's also... When people pass away, I think that's when we truly start to respect what they've done.
Right.
And if someone's done something for you, right? If they've reached out and they've helped you in a situation, that's when you start thinking more about and appreciating really what they did.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened is when he passed away, people started talking about the things that he was doing. People that were helping him were like, he was an amazing man.
Right.
Right? To respect his name, I want to say this out to the public. I think that's sort of what was happening.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
And then also, like, social media.
Yeah.
Right? If you think about it,
and he had so many supporters that actually wanted to get his name out there once he died. Even, like,
he's been doing so much for so long that
It's a payoff.
Social media didn't cover everything.
Yeah.
Right? Social media is really, 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 really popping right now.
Yeah.
But go back 5 years.
Right.
Right? Go back, what, 6, 7 years? Was Snapchat even around? Like,
Right.
Instagram, no stories, no nothing, like no daily stuff. It was just really bad filters.
Yeah.
And too many hashtags.
That's so funny.
Right? So I think just access. There was so much more access now than ever.
Yeah, that makes sense. What is something
That's what I
that
thought.
you want to see change in Seattle, like outside of the music scene? Like, if you could take something away from Nipsey Hussle, what is something in Seattle, like, once you have all the resources you can manage and you have the time to change something?
Oh, yeah. I like this question. For me, it is about community.
Right.
It's about coming together. Right? If I had all the resources in the world, I would buy up an entire block in either the middle of Capitol Hill or the middle of the Central District or something. And I would tear whatever's down. I really hope it's those ugly ass apartments that they're building everywhere in condos.
Yeah.
But I would tear it down and I would build it from the ground up.
And build a wall to segregate Seattle, right?
How would you build a wall on one block? Let's just think about it. You build a wall on the 4 sides, you're just building a big square. I would build an entire facility of resources. It would have low-income housing. It would have accessible studios. It would have accessible, quiet rooms. You know, computer labs. All of these things. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't charge a dime.
How do you maintain that then?
You wouldn't. That's where all the other side hustles would work.
Right.
Right. If I had all the resources in the world, I would go crazy building this thing.
Yeah.
Making it everything I wanted, and then keep doing all my other work.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do it for.
Right.
Right? Because
that's a good point of view. Like Kanye, he puts on, if you make a song with Kanye, you're definitely gonna blow up. You know.
Yep.
I think even more than if you make a song with Drake. Remember, there's like a phase like if you made a song with Drake, you're at the top of the Billboard.
Yeah.
But like what Kanye does.
City girls.
Yes.
All I'm saying. Come on.
Kanye, like, he puts on like all these artists, and at first I thought it was a bad thing, but like he doesn't really nurture those artists once he's like put them on.
Exactly.
I guess that's what you're kind of saying also, like if you build a facility like that.
Exactly. You need to be able to not only give people the space to do so, but the support. Like, because to me, I envision, and I've thought about this, I envision walking into my facility and there are desks everywhere, and I can walk up to anybody and be like, hey, what are you working on? Oh, that's dope. Have you talked to this person? They might be able to help you. Oh, dope. Did you do that thing we did last week? Awesome. That looks really dope. Send that to me, and I'll send it over to this person, and we can get that going.
Yeah.
Awesome. You ready to go to studio? We're going to go in right now. Let me get this person.
Right.
Right? You need that.
Right.
As an artist, if you are just a rapper, but what I mean by that is the only thing you do is write verses and hooks and all that kind of stuff and rap.
Yeah.
You have no beats. You have no engineer. You have no photo team. No nothing. No none of that. That's a whole support system, a whole team that you need. Why not create the space where that already exists?
Right.
That's my goal.
Right.
I want any newcomer to come in and feel like it's possible.
Right.
Over everything else, it's just possible.
Do you think anyone can make it in the industry then? Like anyone and everyone? Because at that point, how can you really be unique if...
Technically, yes. Technically, if the right work is done with the right people and they do the right amount of, self-awareness work, if they dig deep,
Right.
figure out what makes them special, right? Figure out how they need to get their work ethic together, then yeah, you can be successful with the right team.
And at that point, though, if music became that popular where anyone could actually make it with the right resources, then I feel like, wouldn't that like maybe turn into like another normal job in a way then?
No, because we would be so happy working 12 hours a day instead of working the 9 to 5.
At least
it would definitely change the definition of what it means to be a job.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would be a job. I think it would just be life.
Right.
Right. And if we could all make money from it, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. But I think That's what separates people. Because the other thing you're not thinking about is stardom.
But that's what some people just want.
That's what some people want, but some people don't want that at all whatsoever. Summer Walker.
Yeah.
Here's my theory about the Summer Walker situation, right? You saw her freak out and all that kind of stuff, okay? I assume that she was making songs in her own house or wherever, playing on her guitar, and record demos or YouTube videos or whatever. Somehow, of course, because of the internet, they started going viral, and a business exec saw it and was like, "That's what we want."
All right.
And they came to her and they were like, "We're gonna give you this, 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 and this." And she's like, "Oh, of course! Like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do it."
Yeah.
And not for the money or anything, but I can make my art more, and I don't have to worry about the side hustles. I don't have to worry about my day job.
Right.
But they have expectations of her.
Yeah.
Right? She's a very introverted person. You can see it. Putting her on a stage in front of thousands and thousands of people, not gonna work so well. You saw her accept that award.
Right.
She's not comfortable there.
Right.
So people don't want that. And that's the downside of social media. That's the downside of the access and technology right now. Is some people who just wanted to make art for the sake of making art are pushed because it's going to make you money.
Wow. That's interesting.
That's what I've been seeing lately. That's the downside is, for me, I can handle both worlds, right? I can do I'm sitting in a room with just me and like two people trying to figure out and plan, but I can do the on-stage thing. My brain goes into autopilot. I'm a completely different person.
Right.
Awesome. Great.
Right.
Take care of it. Some people don't do that. That's not why they started doing the music.
Right. Makes sense.
And it's not respected.
Right. Yeah.
And it has to be. If you want to make art successfully, there has to be respect on every level.
I don't think fans truly respect artists right now anyways, because they're put up on that big podium anyways.
1,000%. And they're so far away that you can literally pick it apart without feeling like you're doing anything. Because to me, I'm like, if my homie shows me a song and it's not great, it's hard for me to tell that homie, yo, it's not the one. But I'll start that conversation and we can go through it. Yeah. And again, there are certain things that person just won't accept anything different than what it is. And I've literally been on that person's song where like he's trying to go this way. I completely understand that. We have to look at artists the same way.
Yeah.
We have to start looking at Summer Walker feels awkward on stage. Right? Maybe she doesn't want to perform in front of thousands and thousands of people.
Right.
And that's okay.
But isn't that where you get all your money now? Like tours?
Yeah. That's where you get a ton of money. Doing all the performances and shows and all that. Of course, 100%. But what if we just respected the fact that that wasn't what she was in it for in the first place?
That's true.
Because it's also the artist's job, right? To be honest with where you want to be in life. Do you want to make the millions and millions and millions of dollars? Then there's sacrifices you got to make. But if you don't, and you're fine with making a decent amount of money, like I'm okay making like a decent livable amount of money, being able to do the side passions and build towards the things, and not make the gajillions of dollars.
Yeah.
Because then I'm sacrificing. I can't walk down the street. Right? I need a security team everywhere I go.
Right.
You know, I'm playing these huge venues where I can't really connect with anybody at all because everyone's just like an ant. That sounds horrible to me. But if we get to that point, I will figure out a way to make it intimate.
Yeah.
But there's sacrifices you got to make depending on the levels. What if you just want to be a mid-level artist? Like Alan Stone's a good example of that, right?
Is mid-level artist different than underground then? Because I feel like you can still make noise while being underground.
Yeah. So I think, mid-level artists they're decently successful, but not a whole bunch of people know about them. Like Sabrina Claudio a couple years ago, Black a couple years ago.
Well, Black is still big.
Like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
When Free Black first came out.
If you just stay right there.
Exactly. If you freeze that moment, and that's what I love.
That's the definition of an indie artist, I think, though.
Well, yeah, but that's also still like an underground-ish mid-level artist.
Yeah, I get that.
Her,
sense.
for example. I saw her at Numos. I waited an hour to talk to her after the show, right? That was the definition of like underground turning into mid-level.
Right.
And then after that, boom.
Dude, after she talked to this guy, she blew up. It was boom.
Yo, I mean, you come to Seattle once and gone.
That's funny.
Nah, it was crazy though. Like seeing because I heard Focus like pretty early on. I heard that song pretty early on, and it was amazing.
Right.
Literally blows my mind how beautiful that song is.
Yes.
The harp is one of my favorite instruments. So then to go from that and me liking it to the entire world like looking at the same person, I'm like, man.
Dang. Yeah, I sometimes get that.
You know?
Yeah, I get that.
You
Like,
know?
Sometimes I'm happy that I listen to music and some people don't know who that person is.
Like John Bellion is a perfect example. I'm like, his first album is like one of my, not his first album, the first album I came onto, which is The Definition, his third album in total. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. And I wish time froze to right after he released that, and he released a couple singles after that. I wish time froze, because he played at the Neptune.
Yeah.
Right? Sold out the Neptune. It was a great show. Crazy energy. Awesome. Wonderful.
Right.
Then, second show, Soto Showbox. You know how it feels. It's dope. It's dope.
But it's different.
But it's not as intimate.
No.
Then...
Dude, it depends on the showbox. The one in Pike Place, that one's dope. I like that one.
Market's nice.
Yeah. That one's pretty tight.
Everybody goes to Soto.
Yeah.
Right? And I love it. That was good.
Yeah.
And then he went to, it was in Wamu. Where did he go the first time?
Wamu's big.
Wamu's big.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah. I was just like, it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, but who was I talking to about this? Oh yeah, I was talking to this artist and he was saying, because I was like really confused about the Wale show, you know, because it was at Numos, which is like a smaller venue. Yeah. And he was saying you book events like that because you automatically know it's going to be a sold out event.
It was great.
Yeah.
It felt amazing.
Yeah.
Literally just walking around.
Yeah.
Like there was a vibe that was different. Like I want to play Numos. That's right.
Yeah.
We'll work up to it. You know, we'll do little here and there, but Numos is the ideal. I can still connect with everybody.
Yeah.
But everyone can still go ahead and have a good time.
Dude, have you been in the back rooms all back there?
I Numos not yet. No.
Dude, yeah, because I've had an interview there. The back room area is so dope.
Yeah. Was it back to the right?
Yeah.
Like back to
It's dope. Yeah, there's like a whole little underground tunnel strip thing.
Really?
It's dope down there.
That's
cool.
filthy.
Yeah, but Seattle's definitely on the right track.
Yeah, there's a lot happening in Seattle that is helping, and I think as much as we don't like transplants, people moving here, you know, changing things up, whatever, right? I think what that's done is it's pushed Seattle to question.
I've never heard that though. That's so funny.
What, transplant?
That's so funny.
That's like the go-to word, baby. A lot of like seeing someone from a different place.
Right.
Be like, why is nobody talking to each other?
Yeah.
Why is nothing happening? Right. That has made Seattle question like, well, what's really going on here? Like, are we really where we want to be, or are there things we need to get together? Right. Do we need to be talking more? Do we need to pull everything together more? And I think that has made it like that has started this snowball, right? Because then you have other creatives who are now trying to push the envelope as to what the top of Seattle is going to be.
Yeah.
And that just keeps us going.
Yeah, that's true. What do you want to use your platform for as you continue to grow?
I want to use my platform to help other people create their platforms.
Yes. And you're already doing that.
That's my biggest thing, is I can do that with, you know, my guys, right? My team, right?
The boys.
The boys, but like that's the go-to, like the artist who and I felt it, right? I have this passion and I want to do this thing. I just have no idea where to start.
Right.
I have no clue.
I think no one does though.
Exactly. So
it's so nice though in a way though.
It's great to like figure it out on your own, right? When I started producing, I was producing in my room after a breakup because I was sad and found GarageBand on my computer.
Sad nibba hours.
It's sad boy hours. That's just what it is. And I had to do the work, but it wasn't until I started interacting with other artists that I really started taking it seriously and started learning. Right? Like I thought my music was hot shit. I thought it was amazing. I was like, oh, listen to this. This is dope. It was GarageBand, yo. It was GarageBand. And now I'm to the point where I'm like, I'm so below where I want to be. But I was like listening to all of those old songs and I was like, oh. Oh, you're trash, bro. You're trash. No, but it's good to have that foundation, that fallback.
Yes.
Right? When you have someone who's just like, yo, I got you. If you actually tweak this here and you turn this up, right? Here, let me give you some plugins. Here, let me give you some samples. Here, let me introduce you to this guy.
That's where producers come into play a little bit. I feel like
Producers,
that's what
engineers are slept on though.
Engineers, yeah. I don't think everyone has an engineer.
Which is funny. Everyone's looking for a producer.
Yeah.
No one's looking for an engineer. That's why you still sound like you're gonna be on SoundCloud forever.
Dude.
No diss, but you gotta remember that it's about managing those frequencies, man.
Yeah.
Everything's about frequencies, and if you don't have someone who can put it together, either you're gonna have to learn, you're gonna have to find somebody.
Yeah. The work in the background is really important. And that's why I want to bring producers onto the podcast, stuff like that. Like, I interviewed Black Party. Like, some people don't know who that is, and he's huge right now when it actually comes like to producing world and the artist world. And he's like signed to Childish Gambino, and still his name's not huge right now. And I was like, I need to take this opportunity to interview this dude. This guy has a voice that's needed to be heard. Yeah. And
it's really important.
People just take, I just think artists are sometimes taken for advantage.
100%. Because I think people look at it as just, the 9-to-5s, the day jobs. They don't look at it as something that we're doing to be successful.
It's like a stigma in a way.
Yeah,
unless you've made it, it's a stigma as fuck.
It's like we're just being us. We're exploring ourselves. We're just, like, no, it's so much deeper than this.
Yeah,
right. True. So yeah, feeling. It's funny because I've gotten to the place where coming out of high school and after high school for those next couple years felt like I was behind. Everybody's in college, they're in classes, they're doing all of these things, right?
Yeah.
And they're going crazy. And I felt like I was behind. So I was like nervous trying to put everything together. And the past 7 months happened. About 7-8 months, and I've been diving into all the passions, right? Like for real doing it. And I realized that I wouldn't have been able to do it if I didn't have those couple of years where I wasn't sure.
Right. But I think.
But ready? Yes. Everyone's coming out of college.
Yeah. And now
they have no clue what they're doing. Everyone's
so
terrified.
But that's why I think it's important. No matter what age you are, it's important to respect your elders in this respect. Meaning, you can learn from their mistakes, and then you don't have to deal with it as much.
Here's what I think: respect everyone. Yeah. Everyone has an experience that could help you in some way. Yeah.
Because I think social media is used in the wrong context right now. You can learn everything on your phone.
100%.
And I think if you learn everything young, that you can succeed earlier. But I think people take advantage of the social media and the internet and everything like that and don't use it for like that type of resource.
I think so. With technology, everything is there, but it doesn't tell you how to use it. Yeah. That's the thing. I can go on YouTube and I can find videos of people using certain compressors or certain reverbs or this and that. But that doesn't change the fact that having someone in the room saying, hey, try this reverb instead of this one on this particular track. Yeah. Right? That's a completely different experience. Right? It is amazing to have that textbook of information called the internet. Yeah. Right? That is going to get you so far. But nothing can beat having someone literally there saying, we're going to try some different things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's actually, yeah.
Human experience cannot be duplicated or replicated.
That makes so much
sense. It can't.
Yeah, I like that. That's true. Well, what is some advice you have for some up-and-coming artists, creators, influencers?
People ask me that, and I'm like, stay diligent. I'm like, no, you're going to suck. Right? I think the important thing is to know you're going to suck and you're going to fail and you're going to be confused, and that is all 100% okay. Yes. Right? I think having a goal and having a vision, right, and laying out these plans is extremely important. But also there's an aspect of this whole world that we exist in that is going to be unexpected. You're never going to be able to say, this is exactly where I wanted to be. Yeah. I didn't think I'd be sitting here doing this podcast because I was working at a chicken shop, right? That's just not an experience I thought I would have. I'd never thought I'd be making this collective the way I am and connecting, working at a club, doing all these things. Right. But it's exactly where I need to be. Yeah. And having that acceptance, right? Believe in yourself. Believe you can get to where you want to, but how you get there might change, and that's 100% okay.
Yes,
That's the advice.
that's true.
That's what I got.
What are some final words you have for Seattle?
Seattle, get your shit together. God. No, love you. You the best.
You the best. We the best.
We can do it. There's no reason not to.
Yes.
Simple as that.
What is the easiest way to contact you?
Instagram. Always Instagram. At unapologetically.jason. UNAPOLOGI. I don't even know. Unapologetically. You can find it.
Yeah, unapology. Fuck, I cannot say that word.
Unapologetically, period, Jason.
There we go.
That's me.
This is DJ Blake and...
Jason.
You sure there's no other ring? Just Jason?
I've been thinking about it, but...
And Jason.
And unapologetically, Jason.
There we go.
Thank you.
DJ Blake.